Noho ake iau I rongo matairangi runga I te taumata o te ranga ahiu ka titiro
In Kohitātea, January 2022, Te Waka Hourua met kanohi ki te kanohi at Taita College Marae for a 3-day whakawhanaungatanga and Wānanga. Te Waka Hourua formed in 2019 at the Patriarchy Rebel Camp as a tāngata whenua and active allies space in Extinction Rebellion Aotearoa New Zealand. We are climate justice activists dedicated to amplifying tāngata whenua voices. This is a summary of our third in-person get-together. We started with recognition of the 3 priorities voted on at Te Āwhina Marae at the Extinction Rebellion National Hui in December 2020. From there we chose 2 things to discuss further. They are te tiriti justice and smashing the patriarchy.
Kia ora, for those who don't know me, no Ngāpui, rawa ko mua upoko, a hau ko Josie Butler, tōku ingoa tēnā koutou, or tēnā koe, depending on how many people are watching this video. Kia ora. So the group that I was a part of, we were working on Smash the Patriarchy as our kaupapa, and that kaupapa came from the National Hui in Motueka last year, year before now. And so we started off by kind of reviewing where have things gone since we set that goal, and we acknowledged that probably not far enough, and we want to do a lot more work on that. So what's happened so far is some of the local groups have started off when they meet, they'll do a go around and talk about how the patriarchy's impacted them during that week, just to try and create a conscious space where we are reflecting on those issues and that oppression that is prevalent within our society. Another thing that came out of that hui was the Rebel Sisterhood, which is a group of all those who identify as not he, him, having a safe space to meet and discuss these sort of issues. On reflection, we realised that name's probably not that inclusive for our non-binary whānau, so we thought that's a bit of work that we need to do to work on making that name a bit more inclusive. And so the action points that we got out of this hui was that we always wanted to create a safe space at sessions when we are all getting together, probably at a national level, where all those who don't identify as he, him can kind of congregate and just talk about those issues. And we did that at the Motueka hui, and it was really powerful for all of those who partook. So we want to carry on that sort of mahi. We had a strong suggestion of how we've got the Rebel Sisterhood, that the tāne need to be meeting as well and working on those issues, and I think Haimana and Te Wehi have feedback on their ideas around getting that sort of group going. We want to have all those who don't identify as he, him lead actions and campaigns, just because we think that'll bring a real different energy and real different flavour to the cause, and also a really safe space for us to all kind of grow together. And we also had a suggestion around some anti-oppression training, which Rachel's going to look into. That's available in the global level. So we're going to try and bring that over here. Sorry, I'm a bit disorganised, so I'm just reading my notes. We want to have a revitalisation of the Rebel Sisterhood, named to be improved, both online and locally. And we also talked about maybe there's an app that's available that kind of records what percentage of time men are speaking in hui versus others. And we thought that could be a really good tool for groups to start using just to get a gauge, because I think it's really unconscious and a lot of us don't realise how often tāne are maybe taking up spaces. So that's a tool we'd suggest to other groups. We thought about doing assertive communication training for those who don't identify as he, him, and role plays and things like that, just to help us find our voices and feel comfortable being heard. And then a lot of kind of more broader ideas we spoke about was like paying attention to more power positions, like at the councils, how many wahine and others are in those sort of roles. Working on critiquing gender stereotyping at every opportunity. There was the suggestion around maybe looking into changing sexist laws. Someone gave the example that they had friends who got married and the tāne wanted to take the wahine's name, but it was a real process to do that. He had to go change the name by depot, whereas a wahine can just go and sign the marriage certificate and that's fine. So we thought maybe starting to challenge some of those sort of policy level things could be an avenue that we could explore. And one of the things that the tāne suggested was just allowing other people to speak your point. He reflected that often he'd want to jump into meetings and say things, but he said he'd noticed once he just was quiet and stepped back, most of the time the wahine and others would say his point anyway. So just kind of empowering and amplifying those other voices that aren't always so dominant in groups. And yeah, in my group I had the lovely Tor and Selena and Rachel, and we all contributed to this kaupapa, and it's a work in progress, and would love to carry on and have your help. Kia ora.
Tēnā koe te wehi.
Kia ora, bro. What's been happening with you lately?
Oh, bro, last night in my dreams I had a vision.
A vision?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Guess what? We are here to assist the smashing of the patriarchy, to support the ecosystems to thrive and be in harmony.
That sounds like a mission.
Bro, it is a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first thing that we need to do is identify the characteristics of patriarchy. You know what they are?
Ooh. Competition?
Oh, yeah.
Aggression?
Yeah.
Violence?
Yeah.
Egoism?
Yeah.
Oh. Being a know-it-all?
Yeah. Is that mansplaining?
Yeah, it's like mansplaining. Yeah, always.
True.
Yeah, having a mansplain.
Yeah.
Misogyny.
Misogyny. Oh, that's a word, misogyny.
That is it.
We might have to unpack that in another video. So what's your whakaaro, bro? How are we going to do this?
I don't know, bro, but easy steps, some easy steps would be ideal.
Yeah.
I think for us.
Yeah. Like?
A man space. We could do a man space. We should do a man space. Let's do a man space.
Oh, men's group.
Men's group, bro. Yeah, men's group.
Where we all come together and have a great big group hug. Beer hug.
Yeah. Feel our emotions.
Oh, yeah.
That's
be vulnerable, eh? Be
yeah.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Emotions and...
Yeah. When was the last time you felt your emotions? In a man space.
Not my bowel motions. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We don't really talk about it, eh?
No.
And also, we need to educate each other and to call out the bros when portraying those characteristics of patriarchy, eh?
Yeah. But so they know.
Yeah, so they know.
Yeah.
But in a loving way.
Yeah.
Beer hug
With
way.
a hug.
Yeah. Cool, my bro. Yeah. What else are we supposed to do?
Well, I like the idea of being active allies.
Oh yeah, what does that entail? Active allies.
Oh, right, active allies. What does it entail?
Yeah. Well, we're active allies to non-identifying males. That's the first thing, eh?
Yeah. Who are we allies to?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's who we are. And I've got a name for our men's group.
Yeah.
Whakarongo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why whakarongo?
Because whakarongo has these two meanings, which is one, to listen, to make heard, and whakarongo, to make peace. So when you listen, you make peace with what you're hearing and yourself.
How are you? How are you? Okay, sweet.
What else we going to do, bro?
Oh, maybe speaking orders.
Yeah. When we're in a role play.
When we're in a group space,
Yeah.
we know that men always speak first and the most.
Yeah.
Maybe we should always ensure that when there's a speaking order, wahine go first.
Yeah, that's very civil.
Step back.
Gentlemanly.
Yeah,
that's very good, eh? And also, we've got an app, bro.
Yeah.
We're in the new world.
Yeah.
And our
Modern
app,
technology.
Yeah, modern technology. And they've got this app that records how often people speak and who's speaking in terms of genders the most.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Cool to use in our hui too, eh?
Yeah, well, I've heard the fact that when groups are together,
Yeah.
men think that the speaking times are equal, but in reality, it's more like 70-30. Men's perceptions are way out.
Yeah.
So that the app would be ideal.
Yeah. Sounds like we're on some schmuckle. Hey. Into Waka Hourua, bro, which we are part of.
Yeah.
We've made it so that if there's disharmony or sort of disagreement, that for tāngata whenua, the women will make the final decisive call. Is that correct?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's what we did at Motueka when we went to your rohe, eh? Yeah. And so we're also suggesting, aren't we suggesting that for the
Tāngata tiriti?
Yeah.
When it's in their space, that when disharmony is there and agreement can't be found,
Yeah.
that the women get to That's our suggestion.
Bro,
Sounds
what a vision.
good stuff, right?
Right. Okay, you with me in smashing the patriarchy?
Oi.
Smash the patriarchy! Yeah.
One take.
In November 2020, the Hui Atau National Hui was where the Treaty Justice culture was seeded in Extinction Rebellion. This recognised that Treaty Justice and climate justice are inextricably linked, and also it acknowledges that we have to heal the mama before we heal the whānau. That is to say, we have to deal with the fundamental pathologies and problems before we can get down to the details of the problems in our world. And that garden was nurtured by establishing a decolonisation process for Extinction Rebellion members, centred around Te Waka Hourua and the revised Extinction Rebellion principles and demands. A key principle being to tell the truth. Te Taiapa was mandated by the Extinction Rebellion tāngata whenua members as a space for tāngata treaty to expand their understanding of tikanga Māori and to treaty justice, with the intention of lessening the burden on the tāngata whenua members in Te Waka Hourua. During this weekend's planning session for 2022, we built on 2020's primary focus of achieving te treaty justice and education, first within XR and then externally. During October 2021's Spring Rebellion, we initiated a te treaty justice action at Te Papa Tongarewa, calling for the removal of the English treaty artefact displayed in the treaty exhibit at Te Papa Tongarewa. And we demanded that it be replaced with a correct English translation of Te Treaty o Waitangi, because recognition of Te Treaty is something we've been calling for since 1840, so it's a long-standing grievance and it needs to be dealt with immediately. At this weekend's Wānanga, we developed further actions to achieve our demands around that kaupapa, moving us closer to treaty justice. And we'll release details about this action nationally in the near future to mobilise Extinction Rebellion and the wider public to participate. So we just encourage us all to mahi tahi. Kia ora.
And that red button there will come up.
Racist. How are we going to do this?
Yeah, how should we do it? What are some steps?
How should we do this? Kapoi?
Yeah, come on.
Rolling.